What's up, y'all? It's your girl Scorpinko, and I'm back with another video. If you haven't already, go ahead and comment below after this video. Make sure you subscribe and like and let me know what else you guys want to see. But first, I'm just going to get straight into it. So I like to prep all my clients with a very flat foundation. Small braids, if it's not small braids, it's definitely neat braids. However, you want to put as many braids as possible if the density of their hair is too thick, and less braids if the density is a little on the thin side. But at the ending result, you want to make sure all the braids are neatly braided and flat. So I always usually start from the right. Usually if I'm not starting from the right, I start smack in the middle. I like to part my braids from the front to the back. And as you can see in this video right here, this is exactly what I'm doing. But right here, I'm starting from the right. Hopefully in another video, I'll be able to show you guys how I start from the middle, so that when I braid from the middle to the right or the middle to the left, all the braids are basically even. I just started doing this because I kind of know where to place my braids now. I've been doing hair for so long, so it just comes easy to me. But whatever fits you best, just make sure your braids are going straight down to the back of the neck and not to where it's slanting and you have to add another, braid, or put two braids in one to make sure the ends are really, really flat. So this will be another voiceover. However, in the video, if you see her making little crazy faces, we're watching Grey's Anatomy on Netflix. It really caught our attention. So right here, I'm using hairspray. You guys can use any hairspray you want, but just make sure it's a hairspray that when it dries is on the, I would say it's on the white side. So if you use spritz to push the baby hairs back, I would advise you not to because it's liquid, but use anything like in an aerosol can. Personally, in this video, I'm using, I don't even know the name of the hairspray. I just know it's in a black bottle from EBIN, I believe. EBIN hairspray. I'll definitely show it in the next video. I didn't want to show it in this video because I'm using this video as something else. But I just, thought to go ahead and show you guys. So I'm using hairspray and I'm pushing the baby hairs back. Pushing the baby hairs back avoids you cutting her hair when you're cutting the lace, as well as having, your surface clean as far as when you're cutting the cap. You don't want any baby hairs or anything sticking out. You just want it to be pure lace and scalp. So to avoid that, when you're putting the cap on, sometimes when you put the cap on, it kind of moves the baby hair a little bit. You want to make sure you brush back all your baby hairs, like to where it feels like you're doing a ponytail and it's neat with no baby hairs. Just make sure you're brushing. You see I'm doing it in sections because if I spray it all on one side and I blow dry one side, by the time I blow dry this one side and get to the other side, it's going to kind of be already dry, and I want it to be neatly pushed back and dried. So I'm doing that on both sides. I'm using I'm using heat on the very highest temperature I can use it on. You see she's making these face expressions. And the bottle, I just said I didn't know what I was using. It just shows, so you probably got to rewind this and play it back a little bit. But for sure, yeah, I use this bottle a lot versus the got to be the yellow can. They don't make it the same no more. I don't know what that's about, but that's usually how the hair world works. A product comes out, it's hot and popping, and then once they get, oversaturated in sales, they switch over to a cheaper vendor so they can profit more. So sorry I had to break the news to y'all. But next, after I do that, I just make sure that I stitch the bottom braids that I have hanging from me braiding her hair back. I usually have two braids hanging from me anchoring the braids in the back so that I can pull on the side. So anchoring is basically like when you throw an anchor in the water for the boat to stop or something to latch onto. So I feel the need to do this because wigs come with two scraps in the back and you're going to latch those together, but when you latch those together, you don't want the back of the wig or her braids to move. So I'm securing the braids in the back by taking 2 strands of hair that I left out on each side, the left and the right, and I'm basically sewing it together towards the ends of the braids that were going straight back. As you guys can see right here, I literally braided one braid going down and I connected the next braid with it up midway while I was braiding the next braid. So this is what I get asked about a million times. What cap do I use? I personally don't like to tell people what cap I use because it took me probably about 5 to 6 classes to actually get this information from somebody, and these classes was thousands of dollars. So if you guys want to know what cap I use, just click the link on my website in my bio. On my Instagram, on my TikTok is going to be there. I usually have it marked down for a sale price, but I usually just only tell my students. So you can get the cap information there, but I apply the cap. I love using this cap. It's super duper thin. And to be honest, it really helps with protection of the edges. I mean, I know it's thin as possible, but as far as once I get my spray on there, and again, I use the same spray, you guys, that the holding spray. So I put the cap on, I spray the cap down, blow dry it, and as you can see, this hairspray, it really dries to the best of its advantages. And I'm turning it to the side. The cap is so thin. I'm using the color nude. I would possibly only use nude for everybody. However, if the person is like dark skin, like model dark, like Africa dark, like real dark, I would definitely use a dark brown cap or anything in that nature, and go in with some makeup. So as far as the makeup on the cap, I do that method as well. But right here, I'm gonna basically cut the rest of this cap off, and you guys want to see, I'm going to apply a little bit of makeup. But for her, she's a little dark. We're kind of the same color. But I still use makeup because I want an illusion of scalp when I put the full lace wig on. The full lace I'm using, it is 613, and it has like a little white patch in the inside. The patches are usually white when it's 613 and it's kind of brown when it's a natural color. So I was kind of upset that I had that in the middle of the wig, which is kind of, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's kind of rare, but it didn't, cause any problems. She loved her hair. I loved it too. So we just want to go with the flow. Sorry, y'all. So now I'm cutting off all the extra cap, and just to blur out the little line in the front, because this is not the color of her skin, I'm just going to easily go around the front of this perimeter, the edge hairline, and then I go through. I know y'all like, why is she putting makeup all through the back of the damn cap? Remember, I'm doing braids, and I want this to be perfectly, seamless in the back. Don't have to do as much work. So right now, this is the wig. Y'all can see a little white patch in the middle, but we're going to ignore that. And I'm going to go ahead and use my blade. I use blades a lot now because I had 2 incidents where I was using my scissors, and I like to get real close up on the cap so it's like flat. And I kind of nipped, my client, because they don't like to stay still. So, and I'm not the type of hairstylist to be like, stay still. I just do my thing. And I just, scissors are not my thing. So if you're scared of scissors close to the skin, just use a blade like me. It gets the same job done. When you put your wigs on, I like to pre-measure, make sure everything is even from left to right. Sometimes the wigs could be too small, and before you cut and glue it down, you want to tell your client that before it gets a little hectic. So yeah. So here I start from the ear. I cut directly on the sides of the ear, and then I do both sides, and I cut off the lace, the extra lace in the back. She's not going to get the back glued down. A lot of people don't get the back glued down because it pulls their PPs and stuff and breaks out. And then next step I do, So I don't use this step for installing natural hair. I don't know. I don't know. I think I just mastered not doing it. But for color hair, I usually do this. This video, I'm using makeup. There's a lot of different ways you can do this to make it look as scalpy as possible, but I'm using makeup. And I'm going to grab my protectant. This is also from my glue line. I'm going to go ahead and spray it on a piece of cotton ball or a cap or a towel, and I just go across the hairline. The protectant has like an alcohol scent in the nature. If you can't afford the protectant, you can go ahead and use alcohol, but be very careful because you did use a blade. It cleans the surface, and it also protects the glue for breaking you out if you have sensitive skin. So for this install, I used 5 coats. I know that's a lot. I used a lot because she's going to the Lil Durk concert, and she's going to be outside, and it's supposedly supposed to rain. So I use usually 4 to 5 coats when I want a longer install, and I want it to, you know, do what it's really supposed to do. It's a waterproof glue. So I apply the glue left to right or right to left, one area at a time, and I blow dry. I use heat first, and then I click the button and use the cool button so it'll cool down. So if you see her face make a little funny face, it's because it's hot, and then you see when it gets cool, she's like just sitting there, so she don't really feel anything. And you want to do this and put as many coats as you want until the glue is actually clear. Once the glue is clear, after drying it, that's when you want to go ahead and apply the lace wig. So right here, you see me drying it. You see it gets hot, and it's like, okay, bitch, like, you not, you know. And I don't know, don't laugh at me, y'all. I don't know why, but I always shake it like this. So once I finish the blow drying, I'm going in with another coat, you guys. And there's not a perfect way to apply the glue. I just have my methods as far as for marketing. I do certain ways of glue. I even draw my name on there sometimes. It just catches people's attention. It's like, girl, look what she done did with the glue. It's just little dumb stuff to do. It's different. It's eye catcher. It just gets the job done. So if you want, try being creative, doing different, glue methods. If you do have a clientele, if you're doing your own hair, I usually, do dots in front and just push the back. But as you can see, the first layer was a small layer, a thin layer, and I push all the glue forward so that it lays the cap down. Even though the cap was already laid, it lays the cap down, like it secures the cap. And then once I do that, I just put the glue only on the cap. I don't go back to the front and put it on the skin. If it is on the skin, it's definitely less than ½ of an inch, but as far as glue on the actual person's skin, I put everything on the cap. That's what the cap is there for. This is why I like using a thin cap versus a cotton cap. Cotton cap, you put the glue and the cap gets like squiggly. I don't know how to explain it. But the cap does get squiggly, and then as soon as you sweat, your cap is sliding back underneath, and then now your wig is, you got a nice foundation, but your wig is definitely coming off because the cap sticks to the wig. So this is another layer. I thought I cropped all these layers off because I wanted it to be a really, really quick video, but sorry guys. Here's another layer. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just squiggling it on there. And not to mention, this install took me about 1 hour and 30 minutes only because I had to braids on it. If I didn't have to do braids, which took more time, I think I definitely would have been done within 1 hour or less. And the concert for Lil Durk started at 8. I believe she had a makeup appointment at 5, and it was already about 2 o'clock. So I was kind of rushing. I didn't get all, the video clips I needed because I kept forgetting to turn the camera on. But this is what I got, you guys. So thank y'all for watching. And we're going to keep continuing on with this little tutorial. It's little, it's not a big thing. But you guys been dying for me to post a video of me actually doing hair, and this is the video. And I love you guys. And I want to just a side note, I just want to thank you guys for always supporting me. I know I'm not as consistent as I'm supposed to be, but I'm trying really hard right now. I don't know if you guys noticed, and it's hard. It's really hard. I'm going through personal things as well, and for me to get on here and still post and do what I have to do, I just want you guys to continue to support me and just know that it gets hard. I'm not perfect, and just bear with me. Like, I really want y'all to walk with me through everything, so when I do have a testimony to tell, you guys can be there. Like, I was there when she, this was going through her head and this and that. So yeah, but let's get back on topic. So this is probably damn near the fourth layer. I don't know if y'all was keeping count, but yeah, I'm putting more glue. And don't get it, construed. When you use my glue, it's called lace-proof adhesive. So I called it lace-proof because waterproof. You get where I'm going with this? Waterproof. So I'm like, lace. Let's be lace-proof because my glue is waterproof. So I don't know why I think such out the box in a sense, but I named it lace-proof for that reason. So when you use my glue, just make sure, if you're using it on the skin, use less layers. If you're using it a lot of layers, about 4 or 5, put it on the cap, please, so you don't lose any hair. And make sure you use to protect it. Most people don't buy the protectant, which is, you're on your own, because I sell protectant for a reason. But yeah. So after I put my last layer, as y'all can see, I'm letting it air dry while I use my hot comb to go over the edges of the lace, the hairline. I like my scalp and my hairline to be like out the way. Like, you don't want any baby hairs in your way while you're putting the lace down and then it's getting all stuck in the lace in the area. Like, you don't want to do that. And for this particular install, I did not cut the lace before applying it. I usually do it both ways. Every day I do hair different. I never do hair the same because I don't want to feel like everything is a routine and it's like a robot. Like, you'll get, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. You'll get pretty tired if you keep doing everything the same way every day. And now it's like, this is all life. Like, this is all what life has to bring. You want to do things the same way, but do it differently. So it's, it's spontaneous. It's still fun. It's still fresh. You learn, you challenge yourself. You do everything different. So make sure when you watch my videos on YouTube that you understand every video. I'm not doing everything the same. I don't do everything the same. When I have my classes, I teach my students the easiest way possible to install a wig. And some people like to learn the hardest. I do ask them in the beginning. So I don't want anybody to feel any type of way like, oh, this is something new. Every install is new. Okay. So right here, I press down in the middle. And then I go off to the side and I press down. I use the back of my comb and I use the teeth of the comb to actually comb in the hair. I don't do it too hard because I don't want the glue to stick through and it, gets on the hair. But I'm using my fingers and I'm tugging on it. So once I pull from the left, I tell her to hold it. Go to the other side, pull from the right, and she holds it down. I'm then going to get my blow dryer. I use cool because if you use heat, it can possibly make the glue turn back a little white. And also when a client leaves, for some reason, if they start sweating, the glue will turn white. I don't know what that's about. It does it with every other glue as well sometimes. And then it's also when the wig gets old, the glue turns black. So with this case, you don't have to do that or worry about that with my glue. I just make sure I use cool due to other experiences, and it works. So after we do that, oh shit, this is the part where I was like, I didn't put enough makeup on the lace. I should have used a tint or something, and I didn't, but I'm gonna fix it. So I'm cutting off the extra lace with the razor, and I noticed that the lace is a little, it's giving haircut. So what I'm gonna do is take my makeup brush that I use, and I'm gonna closely pat the makeup on the hairline. After she holds it, I basically use the hairspray only on the spots. I use more glue. I use my hairpin and then I use more hairspray. Only on the spots where the lace was not like sticking down from the glue. Because remember, I used the edge brush. So the edge, I'm sorry, I didn't use the edge brush. I used a razor. When you use a razor and you cut in zigzag, it's not as straight. So you miss a couple of spots. Use some hairspray. Make sure you tie it down and you just get to styling. She was showing me the picture. The picture was a girl on Instagram she follows. She does great hair. She's like, I want to do my hair like this, but not exactly like this. So yeah. And I'm like, what do you want to do? She's like, I want to go ahead and just do under braids. And I'm like, what? Y'all, I hate under braids, but whatever. Like, she's already in the chair and I can't tell her no. So I'm like, okay, we're going to do under braids instead. So here you have me blow drying the hair. It was still a little damp because I literally dyed her hair the same day. If you guys look back at the video, I was telling y'all, like, I'm rushing to get this dye done because she has to go to this concert. But yeah, I blow dry the hair so that it's dry. And then I go in and I go to parting. As you guys can see, I'm parting from the middle. Remember, I was explaining in the middle that it's easier to get the braids perfect from the middle to the right. So, you know, on the actual wig, I'm not as good as, you know, making sure it's perfectly 3 on one side, 3 on the other. But if I start in the middle, I can get it perfectly. So as you can see here, I'm parting. I'm on the left, not the left side. I'm on the right side. I'm sorry, I'm just watching this and doing the voiceover. I'm on the right side, and on the right side, I'm gonna start in the middle, and I'm gonna underbraid. I don't use spritz, but however, the spritz that I'm using in here is from Design District, I believe. It's a purple bottle. I'm gonna spray some of that and use the hot comb. When you use a hot comb on color hair, be very careful to use it on low, because you can also, you know, too much heat to colored hair, it'll burn the hair. It'll change the color. So I don't want any, you know, blonde patches in her hair. So I just do enough to where I'm getting the hot comb, using it against the hair really quickly and lifting it up. I'm not like holding it down and making sure it's OD flat, but you guys get the point. And I hope y'all know how to underbraid, because this is what I'm doing. Underbraiding, I didn't learn till probably like 5 years later into doing hair. But I feel like it's probably one of my weaknesses, but I did a good job. I did have to braid slow, so this video is speeded up. And she wanted the braids a little neat. Well, they're supposed to be messy, but of course, I'm a neat freak. I'm a perfectionist, so sorry, but. And this is exactly how it looks. I end up doing this under braids. I didn't stop in the middle. Hopefully I got the clip where I definitely got the clip. So I braided all the way to the back of the neck, and I made sure I left out hair at the back of the lace so that I'm able to like pull out some baby hair. I didn't want to braid everything up, if that makes sense. So you want to have a little baby hair in the back. You don't want her black PPs to come out, because your PPs does come out of your wig later on and they start to show, and then she got gray hair. It's like, girl, what? Who did your wig? So right now I decided to take off the thing, the little tie, because baby, I gotta pull out the baby hairs, and I forgot to do that. So pull out the baby hairs, I'm hot combing them out the way, and she was complaining, saying that it was too tight, but y'all want y'all wigs to be laid and skinned and scalps, and baby, that's what you gotta just sit down and get done. So I'm pulling out the baby hairs. She didn't want a lot of baby hairs, probably just 2. Like 2 on each side with 4 in total. So I pulled out one right here at the top, and I'm gonna pull out another one by the ear. So the picture showed 6 braids, so we did 6 braids exactly. And as you can see, I parted this perfectly because I'm left with 1 braid on the end. And again, I'm just going in and I'm doing the under braid. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the picture so you guys can see what was the inspiration of this. And matter of fact, that'll be on That'll be on the header of this. Sorry, y'all, I'm all over the place. I'm literally walking around in my living room in circles because, like I told you guys earlier, I was going through something yesterday and I'm getting myself out of it, trying to clear my mind, but yeah, getting work done. So anything happens to you where it hurts your feelings or whatever the case may be, just make sure that you use that as ammo. Like, take your pain and use it as ammo, like ammunition in a gun. Like, use that to, you know, make you scribe, make you want more than what happened to you, okay? Don't ever let anybody say anything to you and it gets to you. Let them say how they really feel, understand as the person they are, and just go with the flow. Like, they'll get their karma, they'll get whatever that's coming for them, but it doesn't pay to be mean and nasty. Like, just let it go. Okay? So now I'm using, see, there was a purple spray, but now I'm using the hot comb. I'm using, this is Kendra's Boutique hot comb. I like using my small hot comb that I put in the stove, but it's so old I end up breaking the wood and I'm waiting for my new one to come in the mail. But use any hot comb that you like, that you know you can control to where you're not burning your client, and make sure you hot comb the edges like forward, because remember when we had the band on there, the band is actually pushed back as far as the hairline, so the hair is kind of securing its way forward. Or is it? No, it's securing the hair. Yeah, it's securing the hair forward. So you want to make sure you use your hot comb to lock in the place of where it's supposed to be. And as y'all can see, I left hair out on the sides of the wig because I want to use that as baby hair. Imagine how the back of her head would look if it, it wouldn't look too nice. So for me to have a weakness of underbraided, I'm not going to lie, these braids look hella good. I got to be my own cheerleader. These braids look hella good. So as y'all can see, I'm using a hot comb. I'm doing it fast. She could feel the heat a little bit because the cap is so thin. I'm going in with my spritz, making sure I hot comb them back because you want these to be neat. And the second braid, remember, I basically use the hot comb to pull out the baby hair and go ahead and, hot comb baby hair. We're going to cut baby hair, so don't think that they're just going to be hanging like they are. But it's going to look really nice. Just trust me on this, okay? And hopefully after this video, I'll be able to do like a couple of segments to where I focus actually on one part of the install. Like, say for instance, I make a video off of just baby hair alone. Hopefully I'll get to that point, but you guys wanted videos. This is a really, really quick video. I apologize if you guys don't like this video, but I feel like this is a good enough video to post. I'm getting used to this, okay? So I'm using my spray again. I pull the baby hair out and I hot comb the edges. As you guys can see, I'm using a small fluffy brush. It has makeup on it and the lace is disappearing. Okay. The tabs by her ear, I don't know why, but I always glue them down last because those are, for some reason, the first part that comes up or slides back. Everybody sleeps on their sides of their face, so I just feel like I do those last so it actually sticks when they sleep and they don't have no problems. But yeah, I'm using a hot comb. Again, braiding, going back under braids. And I think I have one more braid after this. So once I get done with this braid, I'm going to go ahead and do the last braid. I'm going to make sure I leave the baby hair out in the back around the edges, where the kitchen at, the back. You got to make sure it's flat. And then, as y'all can see, everything is perfectly neat and installed. However, you can see the white patch on the wig in the middle where the manufacturer, the vendor makes them. This happens on majority of full lace wigs. If you don't, request, I should have requested it. I didn't. I was just so in a rush to order her wig because she ordered it last minute. They have to personally make the wig without that. And I don't think they had any of those in stock, so it would have delayed the shipping. The shipping was already delayed. I literally got the wig the same day. So the little white patch in the middle, I'm just gonna go ahead and use my concealer and like go down the edge of the braids. Well, not the edge, but in between the braids. I'm just gonna go ahead and use a concealer brush and like draw a line. And I'm gonna use a dark concealer because if I use a light, it's gonna bring the braids forward. It's kind of like makeup. And right here, she didn't want the braids hanging, which is different for me because, you know, most people get braids and have the wigs braided to hang, but she wanted it pinned up like a ball, just like the picture. So I decided to make the braids messy, which would make the ball a little bigger. So I started pulling out the braids from the left and the right, and I just like balled it up together as like in a ponytail, rolls it like, you know how you roll a fruit roll up or something. Like I used that method, rolled it from the bottom to the top, and I placed the ball. I had her hold it down for me. And once she did that, I took I didn't have no pins, so I had to emphasize. And I took the pin that we just cut out the wig. I took those pins, and girl made it do what it do. Y'all look, she had to hold it, and I stuck the pin right there at the top, and it worked. It definitely worked. So y'all can use pins, but you know, however that goes. Right here, I'm now using a razor blade again. And I'm cutting the baby hairs. I cut them in an angle. I cut them, you know, going from short baby hairs to long, because nobody has long baby hairs. You have to really like get that through your head when you're cutting. So you want to make it look as natural as possible. And this was the concealer that I was talking about. And as you can see, when I draw on the scalp, it takes away the white part a little bit, and it helps. So for the most part, just do what you can do. As long as you make a wig not look wiggy, like that's the best thing you could do and best advice you can give. I use a curler. It's a small curler. It's baby bliss curler. You guys can use any curler you want, as long as it's small. And for this, she wanted soft baby hairs, but we were in a rush. I usually do mousse for soft baby hairs, but I used the same hairspray that I sprayed. I sprayed on my finger, and I just basically made sure where the baby hair started at on the hairline, I pressed down where the lace was, and I just combed it to the back. So